and this week we're going to do a new series on knots. This series is inspired by my son's Boy Scout troop. They are, as I film this, they're getting ready to go on a wilderness survival outing where they'll be given basically some rope or twine and a tarp and told to make their own shelter. And so as part of that, as part of our lead up to that, we've been decided to work on them with knots. And so that's why I just kind of had the idea, well, let's go ahead and make this video, a series of videos on how to do some of the Boy Scout knots and some others. I mean, I'm not going to limit myself just to the Boy Scout ones, but probably start there. And we'll work on knots and lashings. So in this video, we're going to do the Bowline Knot, or depending on where you're from, the Bowline Knot. Okay, so the Bowline Knot, what's it used for? Basically, its big thing is that it's not a slip knot. Once you tie it, if you tie it properly, it stays in its place. So it's commonly referred to as a rescue knot because if you've fallen down somewhere and somebody's got to pick you up, this is pretty much the knot you're going to use to tie it around yourself so that the knot doesn't slip tighter around you and cut off circulation or hurt you in some other way. Alright, so you got your standing end here, the long end, and move down a little bit here. So you got your standing end, you got your running end. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the standing end, and basically you're going to loop over the top. So it doesn't really matter how you get there, as long as you can have the running end come from above. So it's going to loop underneath and loop around. Then you tie around whatever it is you're tying to. You're going to come from underneath. So you come through the hole that you've made. You're going to go down and behind the standing end, come back up and come down again. So now you got it like this, and you hold both ends in this hand. You grab the standing end, theoretically somebody or something it would be tied to above. You pull, and now you've got a knot that won't slip. And it should look like that. Let me take this out and get this a little bit closer here. I don't know if you can see how well you can see. Oh, we're getting a bad shadow here. But that's what it should look like. So again, even if you're not tying it around something, this is a knot that you could use like at the end of a guy line if you need it for something to stake out. I mean, you're not going to be able to really tighten it, so it's not necessarily great unless you're tightening from the other end. But the main purpose is that it's a rescue knot, so that's really what you want to think of it as. So let's start this over. Standing end, running end. You're gonna make a loop over the top. You're gonna come from underneath, come through, then you're gonna go back down around the standing end, back up and down through the loop, and then you're going to pull. And there you go. So that's how you tie the bowline knot or bowline knot. All right, so the next technique is, how do you tie this if you really are in an emergency? Say you've fallen down and you've broken your arm. Okay. So what you're gonna do is, somebody throws a rope down. Theoretically, they're gonna have tension on it. I don't have tension on it right now, but we'll use my other arm if I have to. But you take the rope in your hand, give yourself a little bit of working space, and you're gonna come over the running end, kind of loop back through. So at this point, I now have kind of the loop that we created earlier that's now around my wrist, okay? And so you're going to kind of want to give yourself a little bit, you might have to wiggle it. So you've got that loop, and again, this arm's broken or whatever. You're going to go underneath, you're going to, just using your hand, you're going to take this rope, pass it underneath the standing end just like before, and grab it with your hand. And now you're going to shake your hand out, and the people up above pull, and you pull on the standing end. You've now got yourself a bowline or bowline. So that's how you do it one-handed. Say you've got again, you broke your arm or hurt yourself in such a way that you can't do it with two hands. So that's tied to a tree, or that's somebody's holding on to it. Again, you're gonna take it, the running end into your hand, your right hand. For me, you could do it left-handed, sure. You're gonna come across, back through. I don't know how to film this. Let me see if I can get it from a different angle here. Scoot down here. Okay. So this is the end, the standing end that somebody has. And you're going to take the running end in your hand. You're going to cross the standing end. And then you're going to take your entire hand back through the loop. So now you've got that loop that we make in the first step when you're doing it with two hands around your wrist. Then you're going to take the running end, pass it behind the standing end, and take it back in your fingers. And I like to point it down. It doesn't really matter, but it's just cleaner, I think, if you do it this way. And you're going to kind of shake your wrist out. So now you've got the entire knot. Theoretically, you're going to have somebody up above pulling, but other way, you're going to have tension. You're going to pull it. And there you go. Now this knot won't slip on me, won't cut off circulation or just be uncomfortable or whatever. It is solid. Again, that's how you do it as a one-handed bowline. So I'm going to review this one more time just because that one's a little bit tricky, or can be. Got the standing end. You're going to come across. Now you've got a loop around your body with a gap here. So you're just going to take your hand behind the standing end and through that loop, and that makes the loop in step one when you're using two hands. Next, you're going to take the running end behind the standing end, take it back in your hand, and pull through. And if somebody's up above or it's tied to something, you're going to tighten it up. And there you go. It's not going anywhere. So that's how you tie the bowline knot or bowline knot. I hope that this video has been informative for you, and as always, like, share, subscribe, leave comments below if you'd like to see it done a different way, or you have techniques that are maybe easier to teach to, especially to younger people, since this is typically taught in Boy Scouts. I would love to hear them. Again, this is Tony with ARO-Online. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you out on the trail soon.